properly in the research report, that means you are not you did not do proper research on that area. So research report is one of the important criteria you take in any field, not only Department of Library and Information. So you take any discipline, research report is one of the important criteria. Now we are going to discuss about the research report. What is the intention of the research report? And it is nothing but the research have an obligation effectively communicate the information about the investigator they have completed. That's the intention is what he finds throughout his research period, what he investigated from the duration of that particular research period, whether that particular investigation, that particular find out whatever it may be, whether these particular data is communicating with the proper way or not. That is the main intention of the research report. Suppose, example, our research project is earlier we discussed about the professional status, economic conditions, or the status of police professionals in Telangana. After completion of this research, the report is very important. How he is going to present, isn't it? Whether that particular data is properly reporting or not. What it is, your intention is the investigator means that is what he find from those, what he investigated, that particular information or communication. Information is communicating to the others, communicating to the society or not. This is the primary thing to say that the importance of the research report. And another thing is research work is done of the part of the academic work or award of the degree. These research only not only for the academic degrees like MPhil, PhD, or thesis presentation, dissertations, or project presentation, or something for the finding the new things for the purpose of research we are doing, research report and all those things. Here, the research report is nothing but it's a crucial step in the entire process of the research. And if we carelessly present this particular research report, automatically feels that he did not presented his proper research. And if he the whatever the research is presented in a proper way, in the careless, with the care, he's handling with the care. That means the research is presented good way. That means research also is in good way. So careless is that we have to think over that. Before going to present the research report, we have to care with the presentation. How we have to write, what are the steps we have to take, what are the styles we have to take, whether we have to edit or not, whether that particular data is coming proper way or not, whether that particular data is presenting properly or not, that all the steps, whether we are following or not, that particular things we have to check once and again and again. Because this is one of the important things on to presenting the data. So comes to the purpose of the research report, the entire area of the objectives, hypotheses, and the various styles of methodology, data collection, analysis, and all those things. After completion of this all operation, after completion of that, we are doing a research report. Planning of what we have to do the plan, how we have to present the research report. There should be a systematic plan is required. What is the plan? How we are going to present? First of it, what we have to present. Second, what we have to present. Third, we are not. Anuradha, getting disturbance, Amma. Think about the content and the text, organize content or text, whether that particular content is putting into the organized mode, and the data put into the organized mode or not. We have to check. There is a plan is required. This systematic plan. That's what I said. a systematic format whether we are presenting or not, a systematic way we are presenting or not. That all are considered. That means we are going to plan how we are going to write the research report after completion of our research. Writing and revising. What is the meaning of the writing and revising? Once we have to write a data, or you take example of the one draft, whether the draft came into the clear or not. You take example when we are going to write a letter to the police commissioner, or a requesting letter to the principal, requesting letter to the head of the institution, requesting letter to the vice chancellor, whatever it may be. Once we have to write, check whether all spells, the word sentencing is good, word formation is good, or any paraphrase is and a lack of whatever it may be. We are going to check each and everyone. Again, we are writing another new system, a new clear application we are going to write. The same thing when we are going to present that particular data research report, we have to write a draft. Later, it should be, it will be a clear cut, whether it is coming clearly or not, coming finest way or not, whether any difficulties, if any lags are there, we have to check. So there is a systematic way. That's what I said. The planning is mandatory. Writing and revising, whether the data, additional data is required, whether we are adding any additional data, we have to delete. Whether any lack of the data is there, we have to add it. Whether that no related data is coming or not, we have to check. Isn't it? That all those things we have to check over on the research report writing. And comes to the try to well organized and plan and well head, keep them in. So there is a plan is required. How to write the systematic. Keep notes, whatever the notes we are collected, whatever the data we are collected, or Xerox copies what we are collected. All the data, keep in front of you, and based on that you have to write. That data only we have taken from the data the information we have taken from that particular Xerox, that particular collected data, that particular data what we observed, and all those things are major. It's required to the and it is mandatory. It's kept over there beside, and you have to write on that. And keep notes files, and right from the beginning, do not have leaving right up until head. If any lag is required, that means what is my intention is that to say that if any some data we are not getting, and don't leave the space. Continuously you have to complete whatever the lags, whatever the gaps. Don't leave the gaps. To add it all the data and put in the systematic order, and you have to write in a planning and systematically, and think one chapter and another chapter, whether the data, the research report is coming properly or not, chapter wise or not, first chapter, second chapter, third chapter, it is coming properly or not. We have to take over whether this data is belongs to the second or first data is belongs to the first chapter data is belongs to the second chapter, or second chapter is belongs to third chapter. Maybe it maybe you will get some difficulties, because while we are doing the research report writing, you will get definitely some difficulties. But you have to think over the data is belongs to the same chapter or not, whether we are writing chapter wise or not, the references are coming properly or not, the figures are coming properly or not, tables are coming properly or not. We have to check each and every one whether it is coming or not, and requirement of the institution presentations. you know, if we are, after completion of the research, the institution is intention to say that as a sample of that particular institution is think that we don't have these lags are having with our institution, whether this institution feels that this particular data is going to find this data is going to presentation, whether that particular what the expecting institution, the same thing here we are presenting or not. We have to check. We have to think over whether that is coming or not in our research report. Each and every one, properly we have to check. Comes to the find out the requirement of the institutions and regularly submit the draft. See, when final report we are going to write now, what we have to think that whether our data chapter wise or what we can say that usually chapter wise we are going to submit to the your guide or your supervisor, whatever it may be. Whether the draft is available with us, the same data, so the same draft we are going to present or not, we have to check, because sometimes we mislead the same data is coming or not. That we have to check whether the same data is coming or not. We have to check. Why? Because sometimes what happened, the data may not come properly. The data may not incorporate in that. Unnecessarily, we'll get the difficulties in our this thing research report writing. So that's why when we are going to present the drafted data, when we are going to submit the data to your supervisor, your guide, or whatever it means, that data keep into the separate, whether the data is covering in our research report or not, we have to check. And editing. See, one particular data we have drafted one particular report to the uh, of research report. Whether that report, I said, the same thing. Editing means we want to add, we want to delete, whether the data is properly suited or not, whether the data is properly acted or not, whether additional data came or not, we have to check. If any other additional data is required, we have to add it. Whether that particular, uh, you know, uh, 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 the table analysis style is not good properly, we have to check. Whether the data is coming properly, findable way or not. So these all the things we have to check. The presentation of report, writing of the report is moving in proper way or improper way, we have to check. Most of the relevant data, I can say that relevant data or method or your argument or your intention, it is appear on the research report or not, that we have to check. It involves that rethinking and replan. Editing is nothing but the rethinking and replanning, as well as correcting any spelling errors are there, and any grammatical mistakes are there, paraphrasing is there, and whether the data is not coming, that particular paragraph or chapter is not relevant to the your thesis, your research, that we have to check each and every one. And also, sometimes there is a online systematic packages also is available for the paraphrasing and word processing and grammatical mistakes and spell checks. Various softwares are there. Though, even though, what we have to do is we have to present in a proper way. And grammatical error, any grammatical error are occurring in the uh, this particular report or not. Whether whatever the data he is reporting, sometimes people are presenting in a you know before writing the thesis, the synopsis and the presentation all will come into the present tense. After completion of the his thesis, it is supposed to come in the past tense, because this the research was already completed. So sometimes they don't know the writing of the writing style of the research report also is important. What way is presenting, whether it is grammatically they have any mistakes, any presentation are there, we have to check. And the grammatical errors are belongs to the whether language is writing properly or not. Sometimes people that the slant of writing, the presentation of writing and spelling errors, errors should be misuse. We can say that end of the sentence and punctuation marks and in a numbers style of page number styles, so question marks, and sometimes in the quotations also. It will show that there are errors. We have to check over on that. But you know, not only guide, is there any proper source are there, proper books and articles are available with us, how to write the research report, how to do the research report and all these things. There are plenty of these sources are available with us in the society, in the market. Just go through in the page number 206. They mentioned around 10 to 15 sources are mentioned. Brown SL, McDonald, and P. Race, 500 tips for the research students. This is from the London, Kogan, page and 1996. Just like that, there are mentioned how to write, publish a scientific paper, the research students guide success, how to write essays and dissertation and thesis, library studies, MLA handbook of writers of research report, the little brown guide to the research report, how to get PhD, and academic writing for the graduate students, writing a thesis, guiding, and here they mention. So what is the meaning of academic writing of the paper and how to write academic research report and what is the peer-reviewed journals? What is the academic paper and the general paper? What is the difference between academic paper? What it is intention? Do you have any idea about what is the academic paper? What is the general paper? What is the peer review article? Most of the things. I think you have an idea about the in a webinar, and even some LIS professionals are organizing national seminars, conferences, state level conferences, one-day workshop, or workshops. They're maintaining how to write an academic paper, how to write a research paper, how to write a peer-reviewed article, peer-reviewed paper. What it is actually? Do you have any idea? Chippanama, do you have any idea? What is the meaning of paper actually? What it is contained in the journal? Where we are going to write, where we are going to use for these following academic papers, peer-reviewed articles, and all those things, where we are going to use. Say something, anyone. Aruna, Siri, Anuradha, Vani, Ramatunsa Begum, Sam, Divyadarshini.
Academic educational purpose.
Academic and educational purpose. What is educational purpose? Academic writings and academic paper writing and peer review writing, peer review paper writing and what is the meaning of journal writings? What is the and the uses are academic writings and peer review writing, where we are going to use for that?
Schools, universities, and education and academic, sir.
Okay.
Academic అంటే
ఎవరు వాణి నా మాట్లాడేది?
సిరి సార్.
సరే, ఓకే. ఇంకా ఎవరు లేరా అమ్మా? See, academic paper writing, peer review article we are going to use for the, I said, general is contained of, it's a bunch of the paper. We can say that bunch of the articles, we can say that it's a journal. Journal should be the title, or it covers based on that particular discipline, one particular subject it may contain. Usually academic writing papers or peer-reviewed articles, we are going to write for that we can say the standardized articles. Whether before going to write the article, general article, academic writing article, peer-reviewed article, after completion of our article, they are going to filterize, review it once or twice by the review body of those particular journal. Editorial committee will be there. They will check whether this particular article, whether this particular paper is containing stuff or not. They followed, research methodology or not. They followed MLA style of reference they followed or not. The APS style they followed or not. What method they followed. Whether any survey method they did it in his research work, data collection tools, what data collection tools he applied for that. What see, there is a systematic way is required that we can say that systematic or standardized or research methodology style he followed or not. These we can say when we are going to apply for the write article, the editorial committee or review committee is think that this paper is having a stuff that we can say in our language, this paper is having a standardized, systematic way they followed. Even they will also check in the plagiarism. Some educational institutions, some journal editorial committee, or we can say some journals feel that some institutions, some journals feel that not less than 5% of the, not less than 10%, not less than 7%, not less than 15%, not less than 20%. If we'll get the plagiarized more than 10%, simply they will send to the writer. You have to recheck it, revise it, edit it, because your paper is having more than 10%. Either if your paper is having 15%, our standard is, our plagiarism standard is, similarities is not more than 10%, not more than 12%, not more than 15%. Because their measurements will be there, whether we are reaching or not. The standardization is like that. The scope is mentioned to the global level, or national level, or state level, whether we are reaching or not. If we are going to reach for that, they feel that this particular paper is standardized for our journal into publishing these articles, this paper is going to publish in our journal with having some standard. Okay, these having some standards. So these standards, whether we are following or not, we have to check. That means when you are going to write, that we can say that there are some sources are there. What it is, that books I said, academic writing, how to write the thesis, dissertation, 500 tips for the thesis and dissertation, because there are the source. How to write, they'll give some instructions, they'll give some standards we have to follow, isn't it? What it is, it's nothing but what we learn in the research, what we learn in the research, just like how they are going to collect the data, what is the standard questionnaire, whether introduction is good or not, scope is good or not, objectives are there or not, hypotheses are there or not, whether he followed methodology or not, whether he followed systematic scope or not, analysis is good or not, whether it's English good or not, whether his analysis part is good or not, whether his conclusion is good or not, any giving suggestion or not, different style is maintaining or not. These all are considerations a part of the standard or academic paper, or book, or whatever thesis or it may be. Even after completion of your thesis, whether your PhD, you believe or not, after completion of your PhD, the university or the institution will send to the 3 out of the state people, those who are expert in that field, library and information science. They will recheck and each and every phase, every para, every page, whether they have any errors or whatever. They will write down, this page is having this much of errors, or you are not presented properly this particular chapter. You have to add if it is possible. Just like that, and three institution expert will send a report to your university or your institution. They will finalize, okay, they minimum 50 or 60% of the 60% of the paper thesis is good. They will accept, or university will accept, you are going to PhD awarded, or otherwise you have to rewrite and revise your PhD. There is some standards will be there, that whether we have to follow or not, we have to check. And composition of the research report. Actually, the research report is containing of the introduction of the research, body of the research, and a conclusion of the research, and terminal part, and what it is actually body of the report means whatever the content you are mentioned in the starting point of your thesis, starting point of your paper, starting point of your book, whatever it may be. It introduced between the introduction and conclusion. Introduction and conclusion. What it contains, that we can say that it's a body of the your thesis. What is the chapterization? What it's contain? Every research report or every thesis dissertation is contain chapterization. What is chapterization? The first one is introduction about your topic, review of literature. Third one is methodology. Fourth one is analysis. Fifth one is conclusions, suggestions, and all those things. Next one is bibliography, or we can say that references. This is the chapterization of the any thesis, any dissertation. We have to follow, isn't it? Comes to the what it is contained. Each introduction, what it is contained, whatever the data you are going to, whatever the question or whatever the research topic it is there, you have to mention why you are going to do the research, why you are going to, is there any necessity to do the research, or what is the intention of the research, and all those things is containing the introduction. Review of literature, I think you know very well. If the person, if anyone already did in the same field or related field, whether it is belongs to the books, whether it is belongs to the journal, whether it is belongs to a article, whether it belongs to a conferences, whether it is belongs to any presented seminars, national seminars, state level seminars, or anyone presented a project report, or anyone presented a submitted a thesis, or whatever it may be, we have to consider. Why? Because what it did, what are the lacks it is there, whether what we are writing, the clubs we may not happen in our research, and simultaneously we have to write better way than others. What method they followed, what method we are following, what it is intention to do the research, what we have to do the intention of the research. That means what it is, we know something in that area. Earlier, what the people they did it, what they wrote in their books, what they wrote in their thesis, based on their scope, but based on our scope, we are going to present better way. We are going to write better way to offer research work. Comes to the methodology, what method they followed, survey method they follow, or observation method they follow, data collection tools, tools they applied, any systematic ways they followed, random sampling, what are the methodology they followed. Comes to the analysis, whether as per the objective, as per the hypothesis and all those things, whether he followed analysis or not, he did properly or not. After fifth, come to the conclusion. What is the intention of total research? Whether the conclusion, report, or summaries are mentioned properly or not. Finally, give any suggestion to the research. Our coming researcher is going to give any suggestions. If he is not properly did, why he did not properly did? Because last of the time I could not complete my research work. I only concentrated those particular area only. If it is I know conclude more, if it is time will permit, and we have to concentrate in more area. If the research may conclude good way, if he feels so, next coming researcher he will know that this area he lapsed. So I supposed to do from this area. It's may good. It's may help to the coming researchers, isn't it? Comes to the paginations. What is the meaning of paginations? Paginations. What is the meaning of paginations? పేజినేషన్స్ పేజినేషన్స్ అంటే ఏంటమ్మా? Paginations is nothing but a page numbers. Paginations is nothing but a page numbers. Preliminary pages we have to mention what numbers? Roman numerals. What about the general pages? What we have to mention? Arabic numerals. What is the meaning of Arabic numerals and Roman numerals? Do you have any idea? What is the Arabic numerals? What is the Roman numerals?
అరబిక్ అంటే మన 1 2 3.
Okay. What is the meaning of Roman numerals?
రోమన్ లెటర్స్ అంటే ఎట్లా చెప్పాలి, ఇస్తాం కదా సార్.
You take example, say something. ఎక్కడ యూజ్ చేస్తారు? టెన్త్ ఏ నెంబర్ తో యూజ్ చేస్తారమ్మా? 10 నెంబర్ ని you take example of the Arabic Roman numerals. What number we are going to use in alphabets? X. Okay, good. Okay, good. That is Roman capitals. Roman numerals we are going to use for the preliminary pages. What is the preliminary pages? Means is the supporting of those particular book. We are going to mention on that book or research. We are going to mention on that various acknowledgement, supporting preface, forward or whatever it may be. We are all going to give us this Roman numerals. General, we can say that Arabic numerals 1 2 3 we are going to give for the Arabic numerals for our research work that we consider generally. The page number sometimes we are going to use top of the page in the middle side, or sometimes we are going to use at the bottom middle area or left middle area, or as per our convenience we can add into the page numbers in there our research report. And comes to the preliminary section, I said preliminary sections. What is the preliminary section? I spoke to you. Preliminary section, which contain the information about the blank page or title page. Title page, I think you know very well which topic or we are going to we did the research. Who is the author? Who is the supervisor? From the which institutions you are going to present, and which year you are completed your research work, and after completion of that, certificate of the guide. So guide, what is the supervisor, what he is going to give our student. Our researcher is did his PhD originally. He don't have any deviated area. He don't have any plagiarized. He did not theft any of the data from the other source and all those things. And comes to the acknowledgement sheet. What is the acknowledgement sheet is throughout my research, so and so people are helping to my research. My supervisor is helping to my research, and my teachers are helping to my research, and my friends are helping to the research. Where we went to the research, that head of the institutions is helping to the research. That particular librarian people are helping to the research. There are some typing people, they help the research. Publisher and graphic printers or whatever publishing. Those who are help for your research, total entire research work, it should be a courtesy to say that thanks for your moral help to continuous support to complete up my research work. You have to write like that, 2-3 pages. Is that one pages are as our interested area, we can write it like that. And it comes to the preface. What is the meaning of preface and forward? What is Telugu? What we can say? Preface and forward.
ముందు మాట.
It's exactly. What preface and forward it contain. The total book is having what it is contained. See, we have some expectation to do the research. The researcher is going to write on that. The book is containing so and so information. I covered this particular. Sorry, I covered this particular data. And this particular year, this particular data is going to find this particular area. It has this particular findings. How to find from this particular so and so research. We have to write that. We can say that preface or forward, whatever it may be. Table of content. Before going to enter into the research, before going to enter into the research, what it is contained, chapters, sub-chapters, or appendixes, or any content, we are going to give opposite their numerals. I mean, give some page numbers. Isn't it? You take example of the chapter 1, started from the page number 1 to page number 16. Chapter 1 is containing sub-chapters, sub-themes, sub-areas. Also, we have to mention page numbers. We have to mention opposite page numbers. That's what you take any book or research thesis or dissertation. They'll mention like a table of content. You take left side is what is the tables data content page. What it is contained, what is the content? Chapter 1, chapter 3. Again, chapter 1 it's containing sub themes. Opposite will give the page numbers. That means it's an index to the. Again, I'm telling it's an index to the of your research or index to your book. What you mention. It is mandatory to mention content, table of content, isn't it? Sections, subsections, bibliography, appendix, and tables, all those things. And also, to facilitate this process, this table is prepared at the end after typing the whole report, including the page numbers. And it should be, we have to think over on that, or if here is needs for the giving the page number in the content list. Why? Because after editing of the, sometimes some sub themes may be come down, sub themes may come into the another page of if you are deleted the data from down page to up, they may come. That's what even sub themes after final completion of the fair report only you have to mention the page number, or otherwise sometimes it is very difficult to adding and deleting the data. Page numbers and chapter numbers also will get difficult to find, isn't it? Comes to the list of the tables and illustrations. What is the list of the tables and illustrations? How many tables is having? Table it is contain what it is and opposite page numbers. Illustrations, how many illustrations means it's a figure, nothing but the figures. How many illustrations is having? Illustration, what it is, where it is contained, and page numbers. Why? Because these all are indexes to give these particular thesis, where it is, what it is, which page number it contains, how we are going to easily find. It's like a source of information. So guiding us the information, is indexing us the information. These all are part. That's what research report is very important after completion of your research. The presentation, how you are going to present it, properly you are reporting or not, properly you are submitting to the society or not, properly submitting to your your institution or not, we have to follow. Table should be clear, logically planned and accurate or not, whether they should be self-explanatory or not. Each table or graph should be preferred by the numbers or not. Whether each graphs, or we can say that pie chart, we can say that some illustrations is having numbers or not. The title should be clearly on the table, top of the table. Source also we have to mention in the down of the table. Whether table numbers we are giving properly or not. Table columns is properly arranged or not. Table rows properly arranged or not. Again, in that the headings, subheadings are mentioned properly or not. We have to check over on the each and every. Sometimes abbreviations also is important. What are the abbreviations you have to mention in that particular your research work? Somewhere they mentioned NA. I said already. The meaning of NA we said not applicable, not available. DDC means what it is content, David decimal classification. CC means what is content, column classification. SR or SR Ranganathan, Shyali Ramamrita Ranganathan. Some, I know, we mentioned in our research work. Even layman also can understand our research work. No? He feels that what is the meaning of RRR, what is the meaning of DDC, what is the meaning of CCC, or what is the meaning of GDC, government degree colleges, what is the meaning of GJC, government junior colleges, what is the meaning of government polytechnic or GPCs. See, just like that, they mentioned GPC. What is the meaning of the GPC? The GPC, what they abbreviated in their research work means abbreviation you can find. Isn't it abbreviation? In abbreviation, you can find what it is mentioned. Then only you will know that particular GPC meaning or GDC meaning or GJC meaning or something what he mentioned. Then only we will know. So abbreviation also is one of the primary things we have to check. And appendix. What it is the appendix means? After completion of your bibliography, of your research work, what is mentioned? Questionnaire, how you are collected the data means by the questionnaire. That questionnaire should have to mention on the appendix. Or additional data it is there in appendix. Suppose day before yesterday we mentioned that status of professional, the status of police professionals in Telangana. We said. Are you going to give any model for that? Yes, I'm going to give it. It's an innovative topic. We are going to give some model. That model also you should have mentioned, because we are advising, we are suggesting that in the thesis, in the research, whatever the professional conditions, status, and all those things is not good to the up to the mark of the professional police professionals. But do you have giving any idea, any suggestion? Suggestions it is okay. But thing is, you are going to give some model to the society, so model to the total police profession. If it is, you are going to create your own model, means that you should have mentioned appendix. Additional information you have to add it. We can say that appendix, isn't it? That things we have to mention. And for example, author full names and all things we have to mention on that. And style and presentation. What are the presentation we have to mention means that scientific style of report writing, presentation of the statistical data. See, any presentation of the data, social sciences or scientific, whatever it may be, there should be a format, there should be a form, there should be standardization, there should be systematic way we are presenting on it. That's what I said from the our discussion. Paginations, abbreviations, and appendix, and comes to the and the body of the part, chapterization, analysis part, and we say that introduction part, and title page, and blank page, and from the acknowledgement side of the researcher, or you take example of the preface, you take example of the table of content, you take example of the from your guide side letter, or these all are important parts of the systematic way of the research, whether we all are following or not. You take any social science research or scientific research. We said that, I said, write a scientific paper, write an academic paper, write a peer-reviewed article, and whatever it may be. Is there any standard is there? Yes, some standard is there. That the format is there. Whether we are following or not, whether we followed, whether we catch that standard, we can say that it's a commonly usually we can say that AC presented a wonderful scientific paper. AC wrote a wonderful scientific academic paper or a research paper. We can say that. But intention itself is what it means is whether we followed in the systematic order, whether we followed in a research methodology order, whether we followed a systematic order or not. These all are considered into the research methodology, style, presentation style, scientific way style, or we can say that, present statistical data, what not, some, sometimes, even tabular data. Tabular means those who are having in the table data, the presentation also is analysis style also is important present in the writing the report. And the graphical data and pictorial data, whatever the data it is containing our research, the data is having systematic way we are presenting or not, we are reaching to the standard or not, we are going to the this whatever the research. Today just we are talking between the 10 members of the student, one teacher. After come to the paper, whatever the I spoke to you and all those things, after it comes to the paper or pen or paper, it comes to a document. The document should go into the public domain, put into your college your college library, put into your school library, put into your degree college library, university library, or national research institution. It's a document. It belongs to the society document. It belongs to the public domain. If you are going to put in the public domain, you say that some Bani, some Siri, or some Begum, or whatever, what it is intention, what he wrote and thesis, it's put into the public domain, is view of this particular duration of the research work, what he or he presented to the society. That all are put into the one documentation, that we can say that documentation in what way? Systematic way, standardized way, scientific way, put into the system of these all orders and put into the thesis or dissertation or project or whatever it may be, that we can say that a standardized, a scientific way wise, a statistical way wise, and a research report, we can say that. Isn't it? Headings and margins, where we have to put the headings. Heading should be now different general text. Sometimes headings should be bold. General text maybe it may be 12 or 13 font size, and a heading size will be more than one of general text. Subheadings also we have to give some headings, and also we have to give some identification of your text, and where we have to give two tabs from the left side. How much of the data we have to come from the each page from the left side, how much of the data, right side, how much of the space it is required for the data, general data, how much of the space is required for the headings, how much of the data is required for the subheadings, and how much of the data we have to start from the down, how much of the space is required from the top. These all are, it's a important part of the research report writing. And evaluation of the AOC, they mentioned here, page number 213. Presentation of the heading chapters section important. Three kinds of headings, namely centered, side, paragraph. Centered should be heading of the chapters, and side heading should be subheadings. We can say that sub chapters, and paragraph should be that's what they meant. Headings are useful. The central headings are useful to indicating the division of this pattern. Side heading should be a paragraph heading, side headings, and paragraph headings serve the demarcate the subdivisions. So they mentioned clearly, because how we have to use the usually center heading means it's a chapter wise we have to use. Side heading we can say that sub chapters, and paragraph it usually use from the second tab of the second tab from the left side. And they mentioned here also the margin should be 5 centimeters from the left page, will facilitate to the binding that page. See how much of cleanly you wrote. It's a good left side from the 5 centimeters, right side from the 2 centimeters. These all are for the binding of your research report. The space also is mandatory. How much of the data is, that means, from the downside, how much, from the right side, how much, from the left side, right side 2 centimeters, from the left side, 5 centimeters for the binding purpose. See, these all are, put into this systematic order. Put into this systematic order. What is for what purpose meaning? We are maintaining for the standardized. We are maintaining for the systematic way. Here again, systematic standardization. We can say that is scientific, academic, or we can say that the peer reviewed and all. These all are synonyms for the standardization. We are synonyms for the systematic format, whether we are following or not. Isn't the same thing? The research, which research, our research, we are following in a standardized way, whether we are competing to the international or not, whether we are competing to the national standard or not, we are competing with our research work will be competing with the national research standard institutions or not. These all competing, reaching, these all are, they followed a systematic way of research. They followed a systematic way of the research they are doing. They followed a research styles they used. They followed a the systematic way they use. Whether we are following or not, whether we are reaching or not that particular standard or not, if we reach, if we reach that particular standard, so your article or your research will be good. Your article will be going to publish in a national, international papers or UGC CAT journals or Scopus journals or WS Web of Science journals or peer-reviewed journals or whatever it may be. That intention itself, we have to follow some standards, some systematic rules, some research styles, research methodology we are applying or not. This is the way of research report writing. Isn't it? Did you understand? Anyone? Or nobody is not understanding? అర్థమైందా అమ్మా? ఒకరికి ఇట్లా అర్థం కాలేదు సార్. వాణి, సిరి, అరుణ, దివ్యదర్శిని, అనురాధ, అర్థమైందా అమ్మా నేను చెప్పింది? మాట్లాడండి ఎవరైనా. వాణి, అనురాధ, సిరి, అరుణ, దివ్యదర్శిని, ఎవరైనా మాట్లాడండి అమ్మా. ఏమర్థమైంది? రీసెర్చ్ రిపోర్ట్ ఎట్లా అనేది టుడే వి లర్న్.
అర్థమైనట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది కానీ
అర్థమైనట్లు అనిపిస్తుంది కానీ అర్థం కావట్లేదు.
అవును సార్.
ఎందుకని? ఇంగ్లీష్ అనా తెలుగు అనా లేకపోతే కొత్త వర్డ్స్ అనా?
అంటే బేసికల్లీ నేను తెలుగు మీడియం సార్.
ఏమవుతుంది తెలుగు మీడియం అయితే ఏమవుతుంది? మీకు వాట్ యు అండర్స్టాండ్ రియల్లీ the same thing, just you go through, write down whatever the the new words are coming to the in the class. Just you write down and check whether the books it is contained, and already you are having a wonderful notes. I think books, your books are very good. Whether that's all are covering or not. If it is not covering, go through what it is, and if you covered what sir told or what madam or sir told, the same thing it is or not, it is there or not. And one more thing is listening, reading is very important.
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్, క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ప్యాటర్న్ ఎట్లుంటది సార్?
క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ ప్యాటర్న్ లాస్ట్ చెప్తాను. లాస్ట్ ముందుగా మీ బుక్ వెనకాల ఉంది చూడండి ఒకసారి.
లేదు సార్ అందుకే అడుగుతున్నా.
ఇవ్వలేదు సార్.
ఇవ్వలేదా?
లేదు సార్.
ఒక జనరల్ ఐడియా చెప్పండి సార్.
షార్ట్ ఆన్సర్స్ 10 ఉంటాయమ్మా. దాంట్లో మీరు 8 or 5 రాయాల్సి ఉంటుంది. అగైన్ రిమైనింగ్ మొత్తం ఎస్ఏ ఆన్సర్స్ ఉంటాయి, అంటే పెద్ద ఆన్సర్స్ ఉంటాయి. అవి ఒక 40 ప్లస్ ఇవి ఒక 60.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Isn't it?
పెద్ద ఆన్సర్ లో 4 రాయాలా సార్?
అవి ఫస్ట్ దానికి 4 మార్క్స్ ఉంటాయి.
పెద్ద ఆన్సర్ సార్, బిగ్ ఆన్సర్స్ కి ఎన్ని మార్క్స్ ఉంటాయి?
12 మార్క్స్ ఉంటాయి.
ఓకే, 8 క్వశ్చన్ అడిగి 4 క్వశ్చన్ రాయమంటారా సార్? ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్.
అమ్మా చెప్పండి. 5 questions you are supposed to attempt further.
కాదు, ఎస్ఏ ఆన్సర్ సార్.
ఎస్ఏ ఆన్సర్స్ ఏమో 60 మార్క్స్ రావాలి కదా.
10 కి 5 అడగాలి, 5 రాయాలా సార్?
10 ఇస్తాడు, 5 రాయాలి. అంటే ఎలా ఇస్తాడు అని అంటే, ఒక క్వశ్చన్ ఇస్తాడు ఏ అండ్ బి, సెకండ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఇస్తాడు అగైన్ ఏ అండ్ బి,
ఓకే,
థర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఇస్తాడు అగైన్ ఏ అండ్ బి,
చాయిస్.
యా.
ఓకే సార్.
ఇంకా
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ సార్.
చెప్పండి
సార్, ఇప్పుడు మనకి 4 బ్లాక్స్ ఉంటే ఒక్కొక్క బ్లాక్ లో 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ వస్తాయా సార్?
4 బ్లాక్స్ ఉంటే ఒక్కొక్క క్వశ్చన్ లో 2 క్వశ్చన్స్ మొత్తం ఓవరాల్ మీకు వాట్ విల్ కాల్ మీకు what we can say, by each chapter each block is contain 2 questions.
Okay.
Essays also. Okay.
Thank you sir.
Then we conclude. Okay.